It's June 11th, 2020, and Sony is hosting a PS5 reveal event, an event created to display the future of video games on a next generation console. This generation had been praised and hyped up to be the biggest technological leap in the history of consoles. During this event, they revealed upcoming games for PS5: Gran Turismo 7, Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man, Sackboy, Resident Evil, Horizon Forbidden West, and then, sandwiched between Absurdly Sweaty Man the game and Demon Souls, was Bugsnax. When I saw this trailer, I cracked a joke about it being the future of graphics. I thought the game looked just okay. Then I listened closer and realized the song playing in the trailer was made by Kiro Kiro Bonito. So as any normal person would do with that important information, I bought the game as soon as it came out. And now, after 100%ing it, I can say Bugsnax is a really good game and it took me by surprise. It covers a lot of ground in the 12 hours it has to offer, and I enjoyed nearly all of those hours. I will be spoiling very minor details in the beginning of this video, including some character details, but nothing to do with the main plot of the game. In the later half of the video, I will talk about the main story of the game, so if you don't want any major spoilers to the story, you can just hop out at that point. Without further ado, let's start talking about Bugsnax. Bugsnax is a game about solving mysteries, helping other people, and obviously collecting Bugsnax. These creatures are absurdly charming and cute. They pack a lot of personality and calories. Why is a Bunger 30,000 calories? One of the best parts of these little snacks is the noises they make. They do the Pokemon thing where they say their name, but it's like cuter and better in every way. Just listen to this Bunger.
Bunger?
How could you not like Bunger after hearing how he sounds? Like, he's just fantastic. As many of you probably know though, these snacks are a little weird. When a grumpus eats a snack, a piece of that grumpus's body will turn into that snack. This feature is essentially the weirdest dress-up game ever. There are so many different snack customizations, it's absurd. I wasn't very interested in fully snacking out the grumpuses, but I did make one character entirely into pickles. I also made a grumpus, who is voiced by Soldier76 by the way, into Pepsi Man's shit cousin, LaCroix Man, and this guy kind of looks like the watermelon equivalent of the Arby's logo. Okay, maybe I did enjoy this feature more than I thought. It's pretty fun to goof around with, but some of the foods make characters look kind of creepy and yucky. Bugsnax can be picky little critters. They all have things that they like and dislike. My favorite example of this is this little Chicago dog worm guy. And yeah, they made him dislike ketchup. As a Chicago dog fan, this is one of the best game design choices in the history of video games. I will have absolutely no ketchup on my hot dogs, and if I had a choice in the matter, I would probably make it illegal. Bugsnax can vary in tons of other ways too. Some of them fly, others burrow underground. They can be sticky, set you on fire, or even freeze you. All of these snack-related characteristics are essential details when planning out how to capture them. And it can get a little tricky to capture these snacks, but luckily the player has quite a variety of tools for the job. A snack trap, sauce slinger, lunch pad, tripwire gun, snack grappler, and most importantly, the buggy ball. Look at this little stupid boy stuck in a ball. On their own, all of these tools are really fun to use, but in conjunction they can create some pretty funky ways to grab some tough snacks. I was using the lunch pad and the snack trap together pretty often to catch flying bugs. The sauce slinger is pretty useful to catch almost any bug snack, because most bug snacks like at least one kind of sauce. Just like in the real world, you can cover almost any object in sauce. This includes your traps and also the buggy ball, and you can use that to guide the bug snacks around. Sometimes the only way to catch a snack is to have it interact with another one nearby. In the desert, a lot of them were just casually walking around on fire, so I couldn't really pick them up. I got around this by leading them over to a pool of water guarded by one of my personal favorite bug snacks, Sodi. Now, Sodi is one of the few Bugsnax that passionately hates any and every kind of sauce. So I'd cover the flaming snack in any sauce, and Sodi would just spray it in anger, putting out the fire and allowing me to pick up that snack. This snack on snack method is also applied to snacks that are too cold as well. I didn't realize until pretty late in the game that you could put the tripwire hook on a fire and hit a cold Bugsnax and it would melt it. I thought the tripwire hook would just like break if you put it on fire, but no, for some reason you can just like set it on fire and it's fine. I wouldn't say any of the Bugsnax in the game are insanely difficult to catch, but they do make the player look around the environment and find the best way to go about capturing them. I found it engaging enough to catch all 100 of them. It kind of feels like a puzzle each time, and I thought it was really clever and fun. Also, all of the Bugsnax that you collect throughout the game show up on the loading screen, so as you start to collect more Bugsnax, your loading screen gets more variety. I really like this use of downtime. It's a really great way to motivate the player to catch more and also show them all the progress they made. Typically, the player is sent out on a hunt by one of the residents of Snacktooth Island. There's at least a dozen grumpuses to interact with. All of these characters are pretty different, and a lot of them don't really get along. Early on, there's a dispute between Gramble and Wambus. Now, Gramble is a snack pacifist, and he raises snacks like they're his sweet little baby bug children. Wambus thinks that's dumb and bad, and often complains about that and how Gramble is wasting their food. These conflicts aren't that deep or complicated, but they fit the game pretty well. Gramble's just a bug lover, and he doesn't really want to eat snacks, and Wambus is just a stubborn, dumb boy who doesn't understand that perspective. And there's other examples of this throughout the game. I found most of the characters pretty enjoyable to chat with, but wow, I really couldn't stand Shelda. She's essentially just the Gwyneth Paltrow of this game. It is completely miserable to listen to her speak for more than 15 seconds. Other than Shelda, all of these characters have legitimate reasons for why they act a certain way. Gramble doesn't really have a family anymore for some unknown reason, so he desires to make one himself by adopting way too many bugs. Beffica is a drama-obsessed clown that won't really get along with anyone because she was hurt by shitty friends in the past. I'm sure at this point you're thinking, wow, these are kinda sad stories for a goofy-looking Muppet game. And yeah, I thought the same thing too. One of the characters that genuinely surprised me was Eggabell, who you hear from early on through a videotape. She talks about dealing with self-esteem issues and depression, and I really wasn't expecting a character to talk about issues like depression. For a game with such a bright and cheery exterior, it is not afraid to dip its toes into sadder topics. And you'd think stories or characters like this would feel out of place, but they never really do. And props to the people who wrote this for getting this dissonance so well. The game never feels like it covers these sad topics in grueling detail. It tackles them briefly and then carries on with the goofy humor and main plot. The writing for Bugsnax really fits the game a lot better than their previous game, Octodad. Okay, so quick recap. We know that Bugsnax are charming and fun to hunt, and we also know that the characters in the game are all pretty cool and likable, but not Shelda. Shelda sucks. I think the next thing to cover would probably be the world map. Snacktooth Island isn't a boundary-pushing 10 million miles of jaw-dropping terrain to explore, but it isn't a tiny baby island either. Right in the center of the island is Snacksburg. This is the town where all of the grumpuses gather, but when you first arrive, it's not looking so great. It's filled with abandoned houses and very dreary colors. But as you progress through the game, the town begins to get greener and buildings start to get fixed up. There's also tons of small, cute details littered around the town too. My personal favorite is the Grumford & Sons record in Wiggles' house, and also this cool-ass frog guy. I really like the frog guy. Oh, and you can pet Bugsnax at Gramble's barn, which is an essential feature to the Bugsnax experience. Outside of Snacksburg, there are 8 different areas to explore and find new Bugsnax in. My favorites are Frosted Peak and Flavor Falls, and my least favorite was probably Sizzlin' Sands. It wasn't even that bad or anything, it just was a little flat and uninteresting. The pizza pyramid was pretty sick though. Exploring Snacktooth Island reminds me of exploring the map in Slime Rancher. The style is very similar and so is the size of the areas. I do think it would have been pretty cool to have a cave biome on the island to explore. Maybe use the tripwire to light up flares while exploring it or something like that. I don't know. Overall, I'd say the island's pretty cool. Lots of areas to explore, a couple secrets around the map here and there, and there's a decent variety in biomes too. I didn't expect this, but Bugsnax actually has quite a few side quests. In most games, I don't really like doing side quests most of the time. They're typically just tedious filler placed around the map to pad things out and make the game longer. To my surprise though, I completed all of them in Bugsnax. Throughout the game, they provide quite the variety of quests, and I enjoyed most of them. There are some duds though, especially Shelda's side quests. I know it sounds like I'm just hating on this person, but they were just not fun at all. She just sends you on these bug snack hunts where you have to capture 2 or 3 from a bunch of different areas across the entire island. I spent more time running around the map than actually catching the bug snacks, and that felt kinda lame. Triffany probably had my favorite side quests in the game. You and her go explore ancient ruins and learn more about the history behind Snacktooth Island, and this made Triffany one of my favorite characters just because I enjoyed her side quests so much. Beffica also had some interesting side quests. I didn't enjoy them as much, but they're kinda weird. You often have to go snoop on people around town and learn their secrets and tell them to Beffica. One of them tasks the player with finding out what Wambus does at midnight. So you sleep until midnight, wake up, and when you go to stalk him in the middle of the night like anyone casually does, you find out that he spends his time talking to a cactus dressed up like his wife who left him. Which is kind of an equally amusing and depressing thing to discover. I just kind of felt bad for him, but Beffica got a laugh out of it. Weirdly enough, there's 4 optional boss fights that are side quests, and all of them are really great. They're all pretty unique and engaging to fight. I'd say my least favorite was probably the sushi dragon. That was kind of a pain in the ass, but it was fun still. Alright, I'm going to talk about the main story now. I've tried my best to avoid spoiling any of it before this, but I'm just going to go right into spoilers in this section. So if you don't want any of the main story spoiled, thanks for watching this far, and bye-bye. Bugsnax's main story puts you in the shoes of a journalist who has come to Snacktooth Island to learn more about Bugsnax, and also interview Lizbert Megafig, who recently went missing. The majority of the main quests task you with gathering up grumpuses and interviewing them. This is all done to collect more information on the location of Lizbert. As you return all of the grumpuses to Snacksburg, they all start to get along more. Eventually, you reach an area on the map called Frosted Peak, where you meet Lizbert's partner, who also went missing, Eggabell. She has lost track of Lizbert in an avalanche and thinks that her partner may be trapped behind a locked door in the side of the mountaintop. So you, Eggabell, and Filbo all work together to eventually open this door. Once the door opens, you all walk through, and then out of nowhere the ground shatters below you all as you dive into the Undersnacks. And this is where the game decides to hit you with some messed up shit. The Undersnacks is a dark, winding system of tunnels with a really off-putting reddish tint. The walls of these caves consist of a variety of foods merged together, and it looks terrible. It almost feels like walking inside a landfill. Everything is just very unpleasant and, weirdly enough, kind of flesh-like. Overall, it's just pretty gross. You meet up with Filbo and briefly walk through these tunnels, searching for Eggabell. Then you encounter a large room where Lizbert resides. But Lizbert's not looking so great. In fact, she looks creepy as shit, and it's here that the player finally gets to interview Lizbert, and the truth of Bugsnax and Snacktooth Island is revealed. And that truth is, Bugsnax are actually deceitful parasites that prey on the insecurities of all living things around them, slowly consuming them until they lose control and consciousness. Once they're completely consumed, they add on to the endless pile of Bugsnax that makes up Snacktooth Island. Lizbert says she's been fighting for control while being endlessly force-fed Bugsnax. She's struggling to keep control of these parasites and tells the player to gather everyone on the island and leave. Eggabell then falls into the room and just fucking bolts into Lizbert and becomes one with the pizza food dragon. You and Filbo leave them behind and return to Snacksburg to rescue your friends and leave the island. After fighting off waves of Bugsnax, you eventually leave the island in the airship you arrived in. This airship then lands on a beach nearby with Snacktooth Island smoldering in the distance. You and Filbo return to your boss and lie about Bugsnax, saying that they're a hoax, trying to protect people from visiting the island. You then get fired, help Filbo run for mayor for some reason, and then the credits roll, playing Kiro Kiro Benito's song for the game. And this is the point where I realized that the song actually had a double meaning in one of the lines. Come to Snacktooth Island and discover it's Bugsnax. That's some pretty clever shit, man. During the final fight at Snacksburg, if all of the grumpuses survive, you get a little extra after credits piece of dialogue. Alright, so I don't know about you, but I didn't expect any of this at all. Not a single cell in my body was like, yeah, this game's just gonna get messed up. I saw that some people online expected it, but I was so confident that it wouldn't. It's a cute little kid's game, right? Has a few moody or serious portions, nothing that dark. But no, the game just straight up tells you the entire time you thought you were helping your friends, you were actually feeding them insidious, all-consuming parasites. So that's pretty cute and heartwarming. I just wanted to make a LaCroix boy and not feel guilty about it. And I fed those grumpuses, man. They were fully transformed into Bugsnax. I even made Gramble eat them while he was sleepwalking because I wanted an achievement. So what do I think of the ending? Well, I really love when games do this kind of thing. I think it's pretty easy to compare this game's story to Earthbound. Both of them are bright, childish, and goofy, but in the end, things just get real messed up. And it's really hard to deny how memorable stories like this can be. I gotta say though, as much as I enjoyed the end of this game, and I think it's good, I really think it could have been more impactful if they expanded the Undersnacks portion of the game. Allow the player to explore more of these twisted and dark caverns alone, searching for your friends as tension builds. It would have been such a great build-up and made things much more impactful and satisfying and unsettling. I think the pacing at the end of the game should have been a lot slower, but it was more like a full-on sprint. I assume this was done to fit the urgency of the situation you're in, but I really wish the game threw this out the window and spent more time exploring this darker side to the story. Regardless, the ending still made its impact, and I really enjoyed the game for what it had to offer. I did not expect a story like that. Exploring characters who all struggle with personal issues made the story seem like it was going to go somewhere else. Like you were going to get all your friends together and have one big party at the end with Lizbert, and it was going to be a happy, good ending. And then right as you think you're finally getting towards that ending, they pull a rug right out under you. It gets dark, and things you did for everyone have a completely different meaning than they did before. Like I said previously, when I first saw Bugsnax, I didn't think it would be that interesting of a game. The characters didn't seem that interesting during the trailer, and I thought the game was just going to be like Snack Pokemon, but it ended up being a lot more eventful than my prediction. Bugsnax is a cheery game that plays with darker themes a little bit before just diving headfirst into it. It has subtle hints of something being a little off or weird, but never enough to convince you it's going full creepy. It's constantly juggling absurdity, adorableness, humor, and moody themes throughout the game. At one moment, you'll be talking with Eggabell as she frantically tries everything she can to rescue her significant other who went missing in an avalanche. And then right after that, you'll be catching a creature called a Scoopy Banoopy who sounds like this.
Scoop, 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 scoop.
And for some reason, that contrast just fits the game perfectly. Catching Bugsnax had way more depth to it than I could have predicted, and while it's not 5-dimensional chess complicated, it's enough to keep you engaged while doing it. When I first planned to make a Bugsnax video, I was gonna make a little gameplay thing where I was goofing around for a few hours and that was it, but I just ended up really invested in it. I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to make this video instead. Bugsnax ended up being one of the most interesting games that came out this year, and I never thought I'd say that about a game from the team that made the funny Octopus Dad game. Young Horses really nailed it on this game, and it feels like a huge step in a really exciting direction. Whether it's Bugsnax related or not, I'm looking forward to what they make in the future. I also really hope they release a Cinna plush, because I need it. I really need it. Please make it. Please make the plush. If you like bugs in video games, I have a series on Deep Rock Galactic you could check out too. And thanks for watching my video. Rockin' Stone.